Hello everyone! We are Team Zion, database major students from BSIT 4A, and our approved capstone project title was Database Design and Development of the Scholarship Office Portal for Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology. We have 5 main objectives on building this project, and those are the following. Create a web-based system that will help lessen the time consumed in passing and accepting the requirements needed to comply for scholarship aid. Provide a way to help the students look for the available scholarship based on their qualifications. Generate verification response if the document submitted was correct and accepted, or if it is the other way around. Create a way to lessen the lines of students waiting on passing their requirements or getting their financial aid. Improve the services of the university's scholarship office by making the transactions easier and by providing the services accessible using the proposed system. To dig in further to the objectives, let's take a look to the main problems this project will try to solve. Let's say we have a line waiting outside the scholarship office. Among those students waiting in line was Mr. Nerdy. Mr. Nerdy is a student with good grades and is an active member of the university's chess team. Besides that, he is also a scholar of Senator X and a recipient of the city's financial aid scholarship. Every semester, Mr. Nerdy has to pass his requirements for all his affiliated scholarship programs to get his financial stipend that will be distributed through the university offices. Every program has different number of required copies of same requirements he has to bring every time he is going to transact for his aid. Beside Mr. Nerdy, we have Miss Hopeful. Miss Hopeful is a freshman student looking for a scholarship that will suit her qualifications. She lives 2 commuting hours away from the university and is in dire need of financial aid. When she found out that she can apply for a scholarship, she immediately gathered the requirements needed for application. Unfortunately, she forgot to bring her barangay indigency and the latest income tax return of her parents. To pass her requirements on time, she has to commute for another 4 hours. And like Mr. Nerdy, she has to fall in line to wait for her turn. On the other side of the node, we have Ma'am Z, an employee of the scholarship office. If the students were waiting in line for their turn, she is the one facilitating all the students and checks if their documents were correct and if the student is actually eligible for a scholarship. She has to deal with all the paperwork every day and has to post announcements regarding the scholarship programs. Once the office reaches closing time, the office needs to resume by tomorrow morning, and the students who did not make it to the cutoff must come back tomorrow. Luckily, Mr. Nerdy made it to the cutoff, but Miss Hopeful was one of those students who were unfortunate. Mr. Nerdy, Miss Hopeful, and Miss Z's scenarios were not the only stories you can hear, but the main problems the system can try to solve were very clear. There is a need for a system where all information about the scholarship programs can be accessed. If a student wants to apply for a scholarship and has no contact to an office personnel or the students who knows well about the scholarship offers, he or she has to go to the scholarship office to know the qualifications he or she must meet to be eligible for that scholarship. There is a need of a system that can facilitate the basic services offered by the scholarship office, like the passing of different requirements and renewal for scholarship programs that has to go through to the scholarship office. The students do not need to go back and forth multiple times to complete the requirements needed for their scholarship programs. The system aims to provide verification response via email whether the documents they passed were correct and if their process was accepted and completed. Besides that, it will be easier for students with multiple scholarship affiliations to pass their requirements online than bringing tons of papers to the office and for students who were living away from the university. To avoid unending lines of students waiting outside the scholarship office's window, the system aims to aid it by using a scheduling system. The scheduling feature will schedule the students when to come to the university to get their stipend, making sure that they are accommodated by the office or the offices in relation to distributing the stipend. To create this project, our team is planning to use a personal computer and a laptop running in Windows 7 and Windows 10 respectively to ensure that the both front end and the back end of the system will be created and developed at almost the same pace. Our team is planning to use the latest versions of HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript, and Bootstrap for the front-end design, and for the back-end development, the team will be using SAMP to connect the front-end design to the database. Because of the limited time left on building the system, the team set the following scope and constraints to ensure that the system is going to make it before the target date of execution, and those are the following. To ensure that the team can build the relevant and appropriate system based on its objectives, the team plans to limit the study to the scholarship office of Nueva University of Science and Technology, where all information, data, and processes needed for building the system will be gathered from the said office. The system will cover the basic scholarship processes being done by the scholarship office, and that includes the passing of the documents for application, renewal, and requirements for getting their stipend, including the verification for those requirements. The system's users will be the bona fide students of the university, those who were registered as current scholars, and for renewal, including applicants for the new scholars, and the admin or the office staff assigned for verifying the requirements the students will send through the system. By building this system, we as a team believe that we can help both the students and the scholarship office staff by meeting the objectives set for the project. In these trying times where any financial aid will be helpful for continuing a student's education, making the process easy and accessible can provide opportunities for all students to become scholars, and it can potentially improve the services of the office for the next succeeding years. Again, we are Team Zion, database major students from BSIT 4A, and this is our approved capstone project entitled Database Design and Development of the Scholarship Office Portal for Nueva University of Science and Technology. We believe that real-world problems require modern and clever solutions.